open it up.
Scott, first non-title fight, 5 rounds of Bellator history. How did you score it? It was kind of a close fight, but also the scorecards ended up kind of being all over the place for Storley.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought that both fighters dug deep. I mean, they're taking some shots. The 4th and 5th rounds, you know, are really when I think that Logan really started to turn it up a little bit, and I think that it was a brutal fight. Those 4th and 5th rounds were brutal. So I got to give my hats off to them, and those are the championship rounds, and they delivered.
Were you surprised by the action in that 4th round? I think this was kind of billed as a wrestler versus a grappler sort of matchup, and then these guys go out there and they're starting to slug in the championship rounds.
Well, I mean, you guys know it's like if this fight went to the ground and Logan stayed there too long, he's in the risk of getting submitted, and Gracie same thing. Like if he could even take Logan down, then Logan has pretty good ground and pounds and some heavy bombs. So they chose to keep it standing. And somebody told me earlier, one of our analysts told me earlier, saying, I think that's what's going to happen. I think that this fight is going to end up being a stand-up fight because no one's going to want to go to the ground and keep it there. And so, I've seen it before. We have 2 great wrestlers or 2 great jiu-jitsu guys. They don't want to do their thing, so they end up striking, and that's what happened tonight.
You had 2 welterweight standouts. You had Andrei Koreshkov in the co-main event as well. I guess for both Storley and him, the 2 winners tonight, I guess where do they fit into this picture? Because it seems like welterweight right now, you kind of have a little bit of a logjam with Jason Jackson fighting Lima, and then Amosov versus Page. So where do these guys fit into the picture?
Yeah, you know what? That's something that and I hate to say this because I say this over and over and over. We're going to go back and then we'll just evaluate who's going to fight who next, and then. But I can tell you that these guys are definitely working their way toward another title shot. So when we'll see, because after the fight in London in May, then we'll see what happens next.
I want to ask you about Brennan Ward too. I know he said that this was a one-off for him with Bellator, and he's not really sure what's next. But obviously, he was bumped from the prelims to the main card. He's got quite the redemption story here. Are you hoping to keep him around for Bellator? Is he a guy that you want to invest in again?
Let me tell you, when I first met Brennan Ward about 2015, he was fighting here for Bellator before I was even here running the company, and he was always exciting. He always brought it, and then he started, making some tough decisions, heading in the wrong direction. We severed our ties with him, and it was at the Horiguchi fight that with Pettis here in December. His manager flew out. We had a sit-down conversation, and we just sat in the stands and we just had a long talk about it. And he said this is something that's really important to him, and his life has changed, and he has a baby now, and he's on the right path. And I really wanted to make this happen for him, because to me, this is not just about, and I told him this after the fight, I said, Brennan, it's not about you fighting, right? Fighting is going to come, fighting is going to go. This is about hopefully the pivot point where, you establish yourself to continue to head in the right direction. Life is a journey, man, and hopefully all the things that you did are all behind you now, and this is a great moment. This is like a Rocky moment, man. You heard it, you saw it. It's like it was a magic moment in time for him, and I'm happy that we can put it together for him. And then we'll talk to him, because I think he realizes he's not 21 years old, he's not 25 years old, and maybe he could be somebody that's our gatekeeper in that division. And like he said, I don't mind working with him under the new and improved Brennan Ward, but to me, like I said, this is more about his life journey and us being a part of it and giving him a little boost. So I'm glad it worked out.
Thanks.
Scott, congratulations on an unbelievable night. I mean, we're only in February, but I think we might have had main event, 4th round might have been round of the year. Co-main event, we might have knockout of the year. I mean, Brennan Ward's pretty much going to have a locked up comeback fight of the year. I mean, it's a really great night for Bellator. Usually when everyone's really happy, maybe it's a great time to break some news.
Oh, well, I mean, I think we broke a lot of news in the last, couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, let's keep it going then.
Yeah, I mean,
how about the bantamweight matchups? We got the bantamweight 20 matchups yet?
You know what? That's something that we'll have probably in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
And we're going to get those guys going sometime in April or May. And, they're ready to get it on. And so we're going to do it. We were waiting for Horiguchi to heal from his eye socket break. Had a small fracture in his upper cheekbone, and that's healed. I talked to Dan Lambert yesterday actually, and he said he's already in the gym. He's already sparring and moving, and like he's training full on, and he's ready to go. So, we're identifying some dates and some locations, and we're going to start moving forward with that fight. We want to announce the AJ fight with Pitbull, the rematch, April 15th. We have an amazing fight card in San Jose. It's going to be unbelievable. So excited about that fight card. And just a little piece of history is, April 15th, 1994, the San Jose Arena opened, I want to say a couple months before that, but we were the first televised combat sports event in that building, and that was 28 years ago. So we're going back there 28 years later, and it was a kickboxing fight, and there was no MMA back then in 94 as far as being allowed in California. So it was a kickboxing, it was a martial arts show, and Javier Mendez from AKA was one of the main events of that show, fought a gentleman by the name of Merrick Piotrowski. So it shows you how long ago it was, but here we are 28 years later, still doing it, still rocking, and San Jose's going to rock. I mean, San Jose's going to rock at that building. I think they're going to come in force, and it's going to be an amazing show. And the semi-main event is going to be fantastic, finish the light heavyweight tournament. And then now we'll go into starting to announce the bantamweight, fights, who's going to fight who, where it's going to be at, and the dates. That'll be our next series of announcements, probably in the next couple of weeks.
Pretty cool. You just mentioned American Top Team. I know you say it a lot. You're very satisfied with your roster, but it looked like Kayla Harrison was going somewhere else. Looks like that's not happening. I know you said you're extremely interested. You've been talking. Any update on a possible Kayla Harrison with Bellator?
No, I read that in the media just like you did, or you read up, somebody was announcing, and I read it, and I'm like, look, I know Ali very well, and he is a tough manager. He's a hard negotiator, right? And I think that she's the biggest star over there. So of course he is gonna bring it to him, I'm sure, and so I'm sure they're gonna have challenges, in that relationship, or trying to get a deal done. But
are you still in talks with her?
we are still in dialogue, but we'll see what happens.
I got to ask you about another one. I know he's obviously his championship clause is in effect, but right now, Francis Ngannou fought out his UFC contract. Obviously, that's got to be someone you'd like to add to your roster. What's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, listen, we have not talked to him because even though he's still in the contract, he still has championship fights. But if he's a free agent one day, and the timing's right, we feel it's a good fit, then we'll decide at that time. But we definitely, the philosophy is still the same. Look, if you're a free agent and you want to come shop your wares and your brand and your business, come talk to us, because we are in the business of signing the biggest and the best free agents on the planet.
My last question. Last time we were here, you talked about Chris Cyborg fighting Kat Zingano. It looks like that's not happening right now. She's fighting Pam Sorensen. What exactly happened with that, and why do we have Sorensen instead?
Yeah, so basically Kat wanted to have one more fight before she fought Chris. So, and I don't think even she was the one that really made that call. It was her manager. And so the manager said, we want one more fight. So he said, okay. So we put the fight together for her, and then, from there, if she wins, she can fight Chris.
Does it go the other way though? If Sorensen wins?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if she beats Kat, then why not? Because, she deserves a shot at that point.
Hey Scott, congrats on a great card at the Mohegan Sun. Listen, 2022 means Bellator spreading its swing and going into full speed. Does this also mean that you're going to be looking into going back into original locations like Hawaii, New York? And another thing is Bellator kickboxing still, in the mix for, coming back into the promotion?
I'll answer the kickboxing question. I mean, the kickboxing question is a tough one because I love it so much, and I love martial arts, and I love, promoting, but it's something that it's not in the schedule for right now. Since we merged with CBS and Showtime, we are an MMA company. We had a great kickboxing business. Once COVID hit, it kind of shut that down, and right now we're focusing all our energy on MMA. And then the question was about traveling.
Hawaii, New York.
Yeah. So if you look at our schedule, I mean, right now we have Ireland, we got Dublin next week, which is going to be a great fight with Austin. I call him Van Sant and Gegard Mousasi. It's going to be a great fight card, top to bottom. And then we're going to go to Paris. We're going to go to London. I think that we will be back in Hawaii for sure at some point. We'll be back in Moscow. Hopefully, we're still waiting to see what happens. Sometimes politics get in the way of business, but I think we'll have many international fights before the end of the year, including I think we'll be back in Tokyo before the end of the year too, working with Saki Guevara. So, you know, this is an international brand. Viacom is an international company, and it's a great feeling to know that we get support all over the world, because every place we've gone, including Russia, Viacom has an office there. Viacom has an office in Tokyo. Viacom has an office in the UK. It's, you know, we're getting great support. So we're going to keep pushing forward, and I think we're doing some great things. And I'm very happy about the fights we've announced, and the fights that we're going to announce are going to be spectacular. So just hang tight and give us another couple weeks, and we'll make it happen.
We'll do one more, guys.
Hi, Scott. Congratulations on a great event tonight. So there's been a lot of talk lately about Bellator's rankings, and specifically at bantamweight. So I guess I just wanted to know, do you personally feel that those rankings are correct?
You know, I can answer that probably after the next ranking comes out, you know, because sometimes, you know, you look at it and you're like, wow, how did they get to this opinion? But I mean, that's really from the journalists, right? This is not, our staff doesn't, you know, go in there and vote. It's really from you guys. So that's how they vote. That must be what they see. Do I always agree? No, but you know, that's what the consensus is.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Recording stopped.